are live.
All right, let me get my
Good
milk
morning,
off
everybody.
the stove. Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday. Welcome to my Together Live holiday edition for Parisian Hot Chocolate. I'm so excited to start off my Saturday morning with you. The kitchen smells like chocolate, so that's always a good thing. And I have my little elf on standby to help answer questions. Say hi, Ryan.
Good morning, everybody from the North Pole.
He's not wearing a festive costume. I asked him to. He's wearing his jammies. They are
That's festive to me.
they are flannel, and they're very cute, but they're not buffalo plaid. So, anywho, so this morning I thought I would kind of walk you through how to make my Parisian hot chocolate. And, I've spent, not this past year, but normally Ryan and I go to Paris a couple times a year for 2, 3 weeks at a time. And we really just kind of immerse ourselves in the culture. And we don't eat at the most exciting restaurants. We're kind of traditionalists. We like to, once we find that one place, we just keep going back over and over and over again. The same thing goes for the neighborhood that we stay in. We've stayed in Saint-Germain-des-Prés since 2013, pretty much in the same building, in the same apartment. And hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So there's a couple things that are really wonderful about hot chocolate in Paris. And I think one of the most amazing things is it's made with really high quality ingredients. So, beautiful, rich chocolate, great cocoa powder. Their milk and cream and half in Paris seems to be made of I don't know, mythical, it's so delicious and rich. And I started thinking, well, I could probably make a hot chocolate at home that tastes just like the one that I get at the Ritz Hotel or Café de Flore or Angelina, which is super famous for their hot chocolate. And it's just about this decadent, luxurious sipping chocolate. It's so amazing. It actually coats the inside of the mug and it actually coats the top of your lip like milk does. That's how rich and delicious it is. And my Parisian hot chocolate does just the same. So I kind of thought, well, how could I make making hot chocolate at home really interesting for you to make along with me? And I thought it's really about the ingredients. So I have kind of some what I would consider grocery store ingredients and then ingredients that you might have to source from either online or a different grocery store than your average grocery store. So I'm going to go through all of that with you because it really does make a difference to kind of scout out what I'm using because it really does make beautiful hot chocolate. So if you're cooking along with me, is anybody cooking along this early in the morning?
What was your question?
Is anybody cooking along with me this early in the morning?
We'll ask the question if anybody's cooking along. Put it in the chat. Let us
Yes.
know.
If you are, just get your milk and half in a kind of medium saucepan over medium-low heat and just bring that up to just under the simmering point. So it's basically scalding milk, which is just getting it nice and hot until that steam starts to come up on top of the milk, and then put a cover on it so it doesn't form a skin. Hot chocolate, we want beautiful, smooth, nothing with that awful skin that happens with milk. I'm going to put mine aside. And I want to start talking first about the chocolate because, I grew up not drinking Parisian hot chocolate. I grew up drinking the packet stuff from Nan's pantry that I even think had dehydrated marshmallows in it. But it was still festive. She always made it in a little blue mug for me that I actually still have somewhere in these cabinets or maybe in storage. And the hot chocolate, it's always been something that I look forward to in the winter. And So we're going to do a little bit better than that powdered stuff. But, you know, sometimes the powdered stuff in a pinch works. But this is going to be your go-to hot chocolate for decades. I promise you. So just bear with me and stay with me. So first we're going to talk about chocolate. So there's a lot of different types of chocolate on the market. You go down kind of the candy aisle or the baking aisle and you see many different brands in bar form, in chip form, and for my hot chocolate, I don't use anything that is in chip form. Chocolate chips of really any kind have stabilizers in them, and I think that that can kind of interfere with like the silky texture. So what I do, if you have a Trader Joe's, this video is not sponsored by anybody. So I'm going to tell you all the brands that I use, that I have on hand at all times, and it's kind of like my pantry staples. So if you have a Trader Joe's, they have something called Pound Plus bars. Ryan, give them a little overhead so they can see the packaging, because it's kind of a wonderful thing. They're these big, about little over 17-ounce bars, and you can see it's imported from Belgium. So these bars are under $5. I think they're $4.99. It is some of the best chocolate on the market for the price. Their milk chocolate is so good, I actually like to just eat it in little pieces. So if you have a Trader Joe's, you can get their Pound Plus bar in milk chocolate and their extra dark chocolate, which is about 72% cacao, which basically means it's just on the bitter side. So for my Parisian hot chocolate, we're going to mix 72% dark chocolate and milk chocolate to get that real depth of flavor. But if you don't have a Trader Joe's, you can use Lindt bars. You can use something, a really high quality Swiss chocolate. Lindt is probably the most accessible, I would think, in every major grocery store. So look for that brand. It's just as good, trust me. But if you do have a Trader Joe's, or maybe you live someplace that has a Trader Joe's that you go to maybe once a month, stock up on all their Pound Plus bars. They're delicious. So what I've done is I have some 8 ounces of dark chocolate, 72% cacao, in a little bowl that I've rough chopped. And now I'm going to show you these beautiful Pound Plus bars. And all of the measurements are at marksievers.com. So right on my homepage. So if you're just watching and want to comment along, or maybe you're drinking your tea, enjoy.
And I included the link to today's Together Live in the chat, so you can
fabulous.
click right there.
Excellent. My little helper.
I'm good at it.
He is good at it. So these are the Pound Plus bars, and we need about 8 ounces, again, of milk chocolate. So about half of this bar. Ryan and I will eat that later. Hopefully not all in one sitting. And a little tip that I like to show you is, you know, I have all of these butcher block boards, and as hard as I try, regardless if I'm cutting onions and herbs and savory things, I always feel like the flavors from whatever I've cut, and even after I've washed the boards and oiled them and have done all of the upkeep, I always find that sometimes it still permeates out into maybe something sweet. So like I've showed you where I cut fruit on parchment, I also like to cut chocolate on parchment. Or if you have another extra cutting board, you can do that too. But I think today I'm just going to cut it on the parchment paper. And all this does is really just give me kind of a protective layer between the cutting boards and my chocolate, so that there's no risk of having onion flavor in my Parisian hot chocolate. So you want to kind of rough chop this. I have a really big chef's knife. This is 20 centimeters, which I think is about, 9 inches. Math was never my thing. It's shocking that I write recipes. And all I like to do is just kind of rock your knife back and forth against the chocolate bar. holding my knife with my thumb and my index finger, and I'm holding it right at the base of the handle. Then I'm taking my other hand and I'm just applying, I'm rocking and I'm applying pressure. And what that helps me do is just get the blade of that knife right through the chocolate. I've tried doing this in a food processor. It does not work, just makes a lot of noise. So I do think that this works the best. And you don't have to worry about each piece being identical, but you definitely want to make sure that it just is a nice small chunks. I would say about 1/4 of an inch is what I would consider rough chopped chocolate. So, how easy is that? There we go. And if there's a bigger piece, you can eat it. Because why not? Belgian milk chocolate is so fantastic. This is not the place for those campfire bars we grew up with as kids. I'm going to put this aside too. Now, I'm going to chew my chocolate. That was a big piece. So now I'm going to talk about a few other ingredients. So my Parisian hot chocolate has lots of flavor, and all it really does is kind of help bring out the intrinsic flavors of chocolate and just give it a real depth and luxurious quality. So we're going to add to this some brown sugar and a little bit of cinnamon. Just about 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon really just kind of gives it a little bit of warmth. I love it. I'm going to add, of course, some vanilla. I use Nielsen Massey vanilla, which is pure vanilla extract. If you can't find Nielsen Massey, or maybe it's out of your budget, just get a really good, high quality, pure vanilla extract. You can find them actually at the grocery store now. They have imitation and then pure. So just always make sure you're buying pure vanilla extract. The imitation has a little bit of a synthetic taste, not luxurious. Salted caramel sauce. So this is another thing from Trader Joe's. It's Fleur de Sel caramel. I keep jars of this in the pantry. I use it in my salted caramel ice cream for the caramel flavor. I use it on top of pound cakes. When Ryan and I were entertaining our family and friends, you could drizzle this on shortbread or chocolate ice cream. It's amazing. And it's kind of one of those things, I haven't made caramel in, I bet you, 5 or 6 years after I found this, because this is so easy. It's pantry safe, pantry stable, and then when you open it, you can just put it into the refrigerator. Then we have cocoa powder. The great debate on cocoa powder. So, at the grocery store, there's all kinds of brands, and I've tried them all. I used to use a brand of cocoa powder called Pernagati. It was Italian cocoa powder. I used to buy it at Williams-Sonoma. It has been either discontinued or no longer imported, but it is just no longer available. So in previous recipes and in some of my cookbooks where I've said Pernagati recommended, now it's not available. So my new favorite is Guittard. So Guittard is from, I think, San Francisco, and this is their Red Dutch processed cocoa powder. It is so fantastic, and this you cannot find in grocery stores, your average grocery store. And when I say average grocery store, I mean like your big box where you can buy brand name cereal all the way down to, paper products. So that kind of grocery store. Specialty stores definitely have more options, but this is so delicious, and it just smells so rich and wonderful. I think I find this at Sur La Table. You can also find it online. And I think this can roughly between $15 and $20. If that's out of your budget, Hershey's Cocoa Special Dark. So this is 100% cacao Dutch processed cocoa powder, and it's actually really, really delicious. And it has that same really rich chocolatey flavor. And this is available in all major grocery stores. But you have to make sure you're getting the special dark. That is like the key to what I would consider making Hershey's cocoa powder put into that luxury category, if that makes sense. And I think this is like $5 to $6. So it is really fantastic. You can use this in my pantry brownies. Those are delicious. You can use these in my white chocolate macadamia nut cookies. You can use these in my rich chocolate ganache cupcakes. I love chocolate. And for caramel sauce, I forgot to mention, again, if you don't have Trader Joe's where you find Fleur de Sel caramel, you can do, many other local purveyors will have salted caramel in their aisle of grocery stores. So you can do one called from Franz. They have a salted caramel sauce, which is, I think, out of Seattle, right, Ryan? Franz? Isn't that
Yes.
right, from Seattle?
Yeah. FRANS. Apostrophe S.
Yeah.
Yep.
They have a wonderful salted caramel sauce. Of course, you can make your own. So if you love making caramel, go at it and then send me some jars for my pantry. So, okay, enough of me blabbing on. I hope you learned something though, because it really is about the quality of ingredients that you use. So now let's make hot chocolate. So I have my pan, and in the pan I have 2 cups of half and half, and 3 cups of whole milk. If you want to be super naughty, you can use 2 cups of heavy cream and 3 cups of milk. But we're going to be good today. So I'm going to put in my dark chocolate, and I'm going to put in my milk chocolate. And the milk is just, it's nice and hot. It's not been boiled. And see, I also love that that just gets right into your pan so easily. So chocolate melts fairly quickly. So if you just start whisking this, Ryan, give them a little overhead. Let me clean up my, well, who cares? Who cares? Holiday baking should be fun and messy, right? So all I'm doing, as you see, is just giving this a nice whisk. So I think for a lot of people, maybe this is where they would stop. They would get some great chocolate, they'd pour it into some milk, maybe add a little bit of sugar, and that would kind of be a great basic recipe for hot chocolate. And see, it's already melted. This is already nice and melted. But we're going to turn up the kind of kick it up a notch and really make this into Parisian hot chocolate that you could compare to Angelina or Café de Flore or the Ritz in Paris. So, some cinnamon and dark brown sugar, a little collection of things. As soon as that cinnamon hits the heat of the milk, you can really, really smell it. About 1.5 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract, just like that. And then some salted caramel, new jar. 4 tablespoons. It's really hard to measure caramel, so I'm just gonna eyeball it here. It doesn't have to be exact. If it ends up being 5 tablespoons, it's totally fine. Caramel is one of my favorite flavors in the entire universe. So let's see, I'm gonna do one big. Yeah, that's about 4 tablespoons, right guys? And again, what I love about having salted caramel in the fridge or in the pantry is that it really is so versatile. I'll just take a little. I just want to try it to make sure it's good. I would never want to recommend something to you. It's so good. I tell you, the Trader Joe's caramel is like one of the, I think maybe the best caramel I've ever tasted. It's better than mine, so. So whisking in the caramel, that's going to give it, that's going to add the salt in the hot chocolate that we need to make this really have a lot of flavor. And it's also going to add, it doesn't add like a caramelly flavor, but it just adds kind of that brown sugary deliciousness. Okay, now for the cocoa powder. So because I have Guittard, I'm going to use Guittard, and it's only about 1/4 cup. It's not much. The best way, it's kind of hard to get a measuring cup inside of these little cans. So what I like to do is just, I measure it with a little spoon, pour it right over my dish. If a little falls, well, it's falling all over the place, but I'm a very messy baker. I don't know what it is, but very messy. So put that, and now watch how the color of the hot chocolate changes. It all of a sudden becomes this rich, deep, chocolatey, absolutely perfectly decadent hot chocolate. Look at that. So when I was a little kid, I used to think I was being sneaky and sneak, and I did it multiple times. I never kind of learned my lesson. But I would sneak spoonfuls of cocoa powder and try to eat them. And it always tasted horrible. So make sure when you're cooking and baking with cocoa powder, you're using unsweetened cocoa powder. It's not a hot chocolate mix. It is a big difference. So as you can see, this has now become this gorgeous, rich, chocolatey concoction. And it's still nice and warm. So the beautiful thing about this hot chocolate is you can make it in advance, let it cool completely, put a piece of plastic wrap directly on the top of the hot chocolate to seal it, and you can store it into the fridge for 2 or 3 days. Putting the piece of plastic wrap directly onto the top of the hot chocolate will prevent it from getting a skin. If for some reason it's in the fridge and you take it out and it has formed a little bit of a skin, just gently take it off. It's only you and I will know. Actually, I won't even know because I'm not in your kitchen. So only you'll know. So don't tell anybody. All right, enough stirring and whisking. Let's ladle this into cups. And then I'm going to show you a fun, I have a ladle in here somewhere, Ryan. So.
The magic cabinet.
There's many of those in this apartment.
You'd be stunned at what can come out of these cabinets.
Or scared. Or frightened. So, first of all, look at how gorgeous and thick and rich this is. It's perfectly smooth. If you feel like you're feeling any lumps, you can also strain it, because you don't want any lumps in this. You want this to be perfectly smooth and luxurious. So, this is so delicious. And it is very rich. So a teacup or a small mug does just the trick. So let's see. Because I have my little elf today, I'm going to make him a cup too. And this, you could put a little shot of cognac in it if you'd like. You can put a little bit of, even a little bit of Grand Marnier. But I actually, and Ryan and I both agree, we kind of like it just the way it is because it's really delicious. You have a little peppermint stick, some candy canes. I am not a huge fan of peppermint and chocolate. We go through this every holiday season where there's peppermint buttercream and peppermint and chocolate everything, and I just think it's hideous. I can't say that I have tried, I should say, I can say that I've tried, but I've not tried a lot. So, that's fine. So now we're going to toast some marshmallows. So if you want to be extra festive, I have some bamboo skewers. And these are 3 different sizes of marshmallows. And you can put them on a little stick, just like this. Then I have my little kitchen torch. Now, if you don't have a kitchen torch and you're doing this with kids, you can do it over, put it on a longer bamboo skewer and do it over an open flame of a burner. That's actually what my cousins and I used to do with my nan. We used to toast marshmallows over the stove. It was a real giant mess if you didn't pay attention and one of the marshmallows fell into the stove. But she still let us do it all the time. And you can also do this under the broiler, just on a sheet pan. So these, we're going to get, let's see, maybe that's a better angle. So we're going to get these nice and toasted, because who doesn't love a toasted marshmallow? At Christmas or any time of year. Oh, caught on fire. Oh, this.
Thankfully, you also have family members who are in the fire department.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's a perk.
My cousin Johnny, well, I don't know if he loves that I still call him Johnny at I'm almost 40 and he's in his mid-30s. But I call him Johnny anyway. And he is a fireman in Methuen, Massachusetts. And I don't know, maybe we'll have to ask his advice of toasting marshmallows over an open flame. But look how festive that is. So put this right into, Ryan, you want the big one?
You give me whatever you want to give me.
Okay, I'll take that one. You take this one. And then I will do, and these are fun. The kids can build the skewers if you want. And when I say kids, I really mean us adults, because it's fun to do. Kids can build the skewers, adults can build the skewers, and then you can just take turns toasting them. I don't use a kitchen torch very often, but I do when I make creme brulee. I do when I toast marshmallows. And you can pick them up online for like $15. They just run these little butane, like a lighter. So it's a great little gadget to have in the kitchen if you are, interested in doing garnishes like this.
And it makes real quick work of lighting candles.
Yes. That's another story, Ryan. That's Together Live After Dark. All right, so I'm going to toast mine just like this. Woo! And, that's nice and warm and toasty. And et voila. Okay, Ryan, do you want a candy can yours just because it's super festive?
Yes.
Ryan likes peppermint and chocolate. Let's not hold it against him, everybody. But look at how cute and festive these are. I love it. So now I told you it's going to coat the top of my lip. So watch what happens. See? It's so delicious. It really is probably, oh, can I say this? I think it's the best hot chocolate recipe out there. I wrote this recipe in 2011, similar version, then went to Paris, went to Angelina's, and then came back and was like, oh, that recipe was good, but I'm going to tweak mine and really get it to where I think it's like on par with Angelina's and the Ritz. So, Parisian Hot Chocolate, you guys. Happy Saturday morning. Do you have any questions about any of the ingredients, any of the process for this? We'll have our little elf.
So we haven't had a lot. We have a quiet bunch. We have quite a few people joining us this morning.
It's early. I don't blame you.
I
didn't even get dressed.
It's a gray day in Chicago.
It
It's
is.
kind of snow raining.
Yeah. It's not very festive outside. It's super festive inside,
yes.
Obviously. Well, if you guys have no questions or comments or anything, I hope that you make this all winter long. If you have questions about ingredients that maybe you can't find or substitutions, a great way to ask me is actually DM me through Instagram. My handle is Marc J. Sievers. I respond to everything. So if you're trying to locate ingredients in your neck of the woods, let me know if you're having any issues and I can try to help make some recommendations, because I do want your Parisian hot chocolate at your home to turn out equally as luxurious and decadent as it does in my home. So
you have some nice comments. So
a
couple comments.
Does anybody like my bathrobe?
No, but they love your recipe.
Oh, thanks. Well, that's probably more important than liking my outfit.
So Amy says it's nice to know that she doesn't need to bring the mix from Angelina.
Yes.
she can just make this recipe.
But good job, Amy, that you have Angelina mix in your pantry. Very proud.
Ruby loves your plates and your whole scene here.
Thank you, Ruby. I do like collecting. Do I have Christmas plates out here? Of course I have Christmas plates. I have many different kinds of Christmas plates. Here, Ruby, let me show you some of my favorite Christmas plates. So, here's one pattern. These are Old Britain castles from Johnson Brothers, England. These are really fun. I love these. And I pair them, actually. A friend of ours, Kim Tanner, owns a company called Strange Lovely. It's a vintage store in upstate Illinois. And she always just has really fabulous things. I have a lot of things from her. And she had these old ironstone plates that I love kind of the difference of those two together. So thanks, Ruby, for noticing.
And yes, Lauren says he does love your bathrobe.
Thank you. See, and Ruby, there's things behind the plates too, but don't tell Ryan. Oh, shoot.
Well, you have no questions.
That's okay.
But I think, this is an easy recipe.
It is an easy recipe, but there's lots of great nuances to the ingredients, and there's lots of great little tips and tricks. So I hope you learned something today. I know we're all celebrating the holidays a little bit differently this year, but I hope you make it as festive and have as much merriment as you possibly can in your home. And make my Parisian Hot Chocolate. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Like this video, give it a thumbs up, and have a wonderful weekend and enjoy shopping for your ingredients for my Parisian Hot Chocolate. I will see you guys really soon. Au revoir.